and welcome to the Unstoppable Consciousness Podcast. This is Lisa Lajoie, your host. This show is for those of you that are seekers, high performers, consciousness leaders who want to develop themselves and reach their higher potential, where you can understand superconscious mindset, your energetics, where you can make your quantum leaps and learn about how to be the highest level of yourself as the individual soul that you came here to be. Today's episode is really interesting. I decided to do this episode for actually personal reasons and also just to share in the journey of healing with you and hopefully help as many of you as I can to find your own healing and to understand the journey and to become aware of what that journey is going to be for you. We all heal uniquely based on our individual makeup and who we are, our energetics, our soul self, how we're built. We all have a very special way to uniquely transform our lives and to understand how the call to healing comes, because it comes to each of us differently, and it's important to understand your own. So I'm going to do a little share. We're going to have a leadership conversation today, talking about the healing journey and what that means. And hopefully I'm going to be able to share with you some insights that will lead you to a comfort zone where if you need to heal your own life and heal yourself in some way, that you feel the permission and the love for me in support of you doing that. It's so important. We're all going through a lot. And what's interesting is in this world today, we've forgotten in a bigger picture way, and I'm sure that's just, the way the world works at this point. We're so detached. A lot of that has to do with electronics, the internet. We have access to so much information, to, looking at anybody anywhere in the world, that it's easy to fall away from yourself. It's easy to forget who you are in search of yourself and looking on the outside to find out who you are on the inside. It's very easy to do that in today's world. We're, very, very easy, especially if you're in pain. And if you're in pain somehow, or you've had trauma and you've had things in your life that have held you back from yourself, held you back from your authenticity, your true heart, and brought you to a place of forgetting who you are, disconnecting from your true essence inside, of course, you're looking on the outside for your insides. You're looking for a better life. You're looking for anything that you can do to help yourself feel better, feel different, not feel that pain. And, my life has been a journey of transformation. And sometimes that's a blessing, sometimes not. Sometimes it's tough, really, really tough. I want to also share some insight. I do astrology and human design, numerology. I have a lot of spiritual technologies that I love and use with my clients and with myself over the last, 3 decades. I think I started doing that when I was 14, reading books about metaphysics and astrology, and got my first chart read at 14, which really saved me, even though I spent another 10 years going completely bonkers and really in a place of self-destruction. Not understanding my trauma that I was living was creating a crisis inside myself that would make me seek on the outside for a place where I could belong. And it started there. I was looking for places to belong. I was looking for my tribe. And the truth is, that's a huge struggle, to go through as a child. It's really, really difficult when you don't feel at home in your own home, with your own family, with your own people. And there's split-offs that are occurring in a broken home that are devastating to a child. Really, really devastating. So I have lots of stories about that, but I'm definitely wanting to just keep the conversation going about, what that means to our healing. There's a couple of things. One is you can understand your unique way of healing through your birth chart. That is the beginning of the roadmap of you being a human and a spiritual being on this planet, because the galaxy shows us the imprint of that time and place that you were born and how you were built as an earthly being, spiritual being, human being, mindset, physicality, emotional. It has everything in a chart. Everything. Career, friendships, what you're here to do, what you're meant to do, what life you lived before you came here. There is so much wonderful data that can help you uniquely understand yourself and make things easier in accordance to your healing. Make things more fluid so you understand yourself. You understand why things happen a certain way. You get it. You get your reactions, your signs and signals, your depth of emotion, or your depth of rationale. We're all so very different. It's so important to understand that. You are really built in a unique way. I tell you what, it's one of my greatest pet peeves that people want others to just conform to whatever they think that their collective is, And we're not supposed to be the same. There's, of course, a huge population of people that are built the same because people are born at the same time, same generational roadmaps based on the cosmos. Some of the planets, can describe 30 years of a generation and what 30 years will look like and what type of people are going to be collectively coming onto the planet. So you can see that. It's easy to see eras. It's easy to see how history has changed, how people have changed, how collections of people are doing the same types of dances, clothing, personal values, what we share. You can see it. There's real pockets of time and time frames that reveal decades of history and eras and what was going on in those times, which we can map back to astrology. And that's so interesting, right? We can map back to astrology and map back to history. And so the future also has historic opportunities, which we can see in a chart because, the planets have consistency and they do change in a certain pace. They move around the sun, which represent how they hit our charts over courses of time. And that's called the transit, how the transits are moving, how the planets are moving over your chart. And it's very revealing to be able to see. And so you'll know if you were born in an era where no one talked about feelings, nobody talked about healing, which is not today. Today it's, I'm 59 now. I'm like, what happened to time? But I was one of the pioneers of sharing emotions and being able to bring it up and fighting for that as it being really valuable and important. And putting that in my work and putting that out into the world of, that I work in and the world that I share with those around me to be able to share honestly and have emotions be an important experience. And I'll tell you, it's not easy. That's not easy, being able to share from the depth of who you are, your true emotion. But it's so important for those of us that are built that way. And I know people will generalize, and there is no generalization when it comes to the collective of people. Yes, there are real emotional people. Of course there is. That you can map in your chart. You can map in human design. That's called having an emotional authority in your chart in human design. And it represents how a person functions, how a person will respond to life through emotions and how to handle your waves of emotion so that you understand how to process how you're internalizing life. And there's a lot of us like that, but we're not all like that. Other people process life through their energy, through their mind, through their rationale, through their genius, through how they visually see through their instincts and experience things through their instincts. We're not all the same. Even though we all have emotions, we experience them differently, which that's where it comes back to healing. So the healing protocol for all of us is not the same. That's part of why, in my view, there's so many different modalities of healing, because each of us need a different type, a different formula. I always say this to my clients too, in my group programs and things as such, like, why do you think there's so many religions out there and spiritual practices? Because there's so many people that are uniquely different and feeling an array of internal shifts and changes, which relate to a certain type of healing, which will work for them. And I'm a perfect example of that. I tried a variety of different healing modalities over the course of my life, traditional, non-traditional, and there's really certain ones that work for me. I understood how I process things at a very, very deep core level. I understand that. Once I understood that, it's much easier for me to ride the waves of my empathic self, of my emotional self, and be able to go with those currents, even though sometimes they're deep and devastating. They really are deep and devastating. Like, you can't imagine, some of you can't imagine how deep I can go, because that's not how you're built, which I honor, and it's good for us to know those things, because then we won't have expectations of other people to be like who we are. We're going to understand you're not going to experience life like I do. You're not going to feel as deep as I do. You're not going to be as rational, or I'm not going to be as rational as you, or as spiritual, because some people's healing journey is extremely spiritual. They need the spiritual process. They need the energy experience where we're healing the energy vibration. We're going into ancestral healing. We're going into higher vibrations. We're going into modalities where we actually bring energy healing into the body, into the auric system, into the chakra system. It's a realignment. That's also a very specific type of person who will be able to embrace that, feel that, connect to that experience, and have the positive results from it. And be able to have the healing that they're looking for and have the transformations that they're looking for. And some traumas are lifelong healing journeys. And it has to be okay. It's got to be okay, folks. It's got to be okay for you to take whatever you need to process your transformation and internal healing in whatever time it takes, for however long it takes. Many, many people avoid that till the last 3, 4, 5 months of their life. And that's when the spirit comes to call, because that's how it works. The soul goes, listen, are we going to do my mandate? We're going to overview life now, because now you've created all kinds of new karma. You haven't understood these lessons. And so what happens is there's a stimulation for people who haven't bothered to transform their life at all, for their reasons. I'm scared. I'm focused on something else. I don't really want to look at my personal healing that I need. It always comes to call. And you can ask anybody who works in a hospice. You can ask anybody who has dealt with those people who have passed on to the other side. I get to do that. I've gotten to do that over my life as a medium. I've helped different people go through the process of death and families and those loved ones that have passed, and I've helped people. It's not necessarily my first specialty, but it is something that I do, and I've been honored to help people understand, help my own family, my own parents cross over and understand that journey and what that means and what comes to call at that time in a person's life. If you haven't actually been aware or chosen to make some transformation, sooner or later it comes to say, listen, are we going to do it now? Especially before the body is getting ready to die. For sure, the soul is like, hey, are we going to get this work done that we set out to do? This is important. Can we get it done? Let's go. And so a lot of times what will happen to a person on the end of their life is they start having memories. All these activations happen in the brain and the memory system and the emotions. And, it stimulates an opportunity for growth. And then there's also many people who can't do it and, they just can't do it. And that's it. And, many things happen to those people too. They manifest all kinds of ways to totally avoid what it is that they're needing to do at the end of their life out of fear, all kinds of reasons. People get terrified to look at what they haven't looked at, and it happens. And the manifesto in the body can come out in many different ways. So we have to honor whatever's there. But what I'm trying to do is give you data so that you're you wake up and you're aware, and you can go, yeah, I can choose however I'm going to do that. I can choose how I'm healing. I'm healing myself with resistance. I'm waiting to the end. I'm creating more problems at the end. I'm not synchronized with my true soul purpose and what I'm here to do. I'm not able to honor those transformations. I'm not getting my stuff done that I'm here to get done, which, I have a feeling about or I know about. I am living, but maybe I need to go higher in that elevation of that consciousness and what I'm here to do. I'm supposed to do more, and I'm scared and I need to keep transforming, which is a lot of us go through that. Once you get on the road of transformation, you can go as far and wide as you want. You can heal yourself as far as wide as you want. But I'm not going to lie, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy for many of us to feel, choose, and go through. So there's a couple of things you need to know. The data could really help. Like, getting your chart done. I really believe in that because that's what helped me. It helped me so much so that it gave me a strategy, and I got a strategy about how to heal and what my process would be. And when I reflected back and looked at my life patterns and looked at how it actually happened for me, that I would transform and the volatility behind some of it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense from what I learned about myself growing up, because also you want to go back and look at what did I learn from my family environments. That's the human perspective. Then there's the astrological perspective, like how am I built? What's going to get triggered when I need to transform? Where is my soul located in persuading me? Where is Saturn showing me what I need to do? Where is it all located? Where are my south node and my north node? So I know, like, here's what I came to do. Here's what's pushing me. Here's my responsibilities. Here's how my mind works. Here's how my heart works. Here's what was inherited from my family. I could read all that in a chart. It's like incredible. So you have your human conditioning, which is, your family and their free will and how you were raised and what your parents went through, and learning about how that affected you and clearing the process of it, what you want to keep, what you don't want to keep, what has happened that has really imprinted on you and hurt you deeply and has had a causal effect of negativity in your life. What patterns you developed yourself from your own choices as a kid, as a child, from your own experiences that have nothing to do with your parents, but have to do with you and your soul self, and what's going on with your communication and the world today with yourself, and how the world is communicating back to you and how you're communicating to it. Then what are you manifesting in your life? How does your mind work? Where are you at? How do you handle your emotions? What you've learned about emotions, what you reject about yourself, love about yourself. The data is endless. Like, you need to have as much support, and you get that kind of support and clarity from the data that you have and have gained and attained through getting to know yourself in whatever way is necessary. Seeing a therapist, seeing a coach, seeing a healer, this is all places to get data so that you can learn about the intricate details of you. The thing I love about astrology and human design is it gives you leadership, because when you understand how deep you're built, or how not deep you're built, like maybe you really are like a rational healer. You need to understand logically first before the rest of you can shift. Some of us need to have our faith first. We need to go to spirit first, universe, God, and that is where the beginning of the healing. There's no order. Sometimes the mind is first, sometimes the body's first, sometimes the soul is first. It doesn't matter. At one point, all those parts of you will come for the healing from the same situation. So wherever the starting point is, it doesn't matter. Also, how you'll fight for your healing, what'll happen to you, what'll manifest inside your life. You want to look for that. You want to understand what could happen once you start poking the transformation and trauma that you need to heal. It's important, because if it's, when we instigate our own transformation, stuff comes to call, stuff comes up. Things unlodge in your unconscious mind. They unlodge, and they start revealing themselves in your life. They come to manifest in your life through trying to show you what's going on. Like, as an example, you ask yourself a simple question, and you're willing to go through the growth that you need to. You've made some kind of decision in your life that you really want to know what's stopping you from having the relationship that you want, as an example, or the career that you want. You understand there's something not going right because it's years you're trying to figure it out, and you can't figure it out, you know? It's whatever, 2-3 years you're trying to manifest love in your life. You want love in your life. You can't find it. You're not sure how to do it. And, the minute you decide to do that, and you own your personal responsibility, because that's the other thing, is like once you provoke a healing, some people run away from their personal responsibility. They think of it like a demand on the universe. Like, I'm going to demand that the man of my life or the woman of my life show up. If you have healing to do, once you make that decision, what you're doing is asking the universe, life, and Mother Nature, the earth, to collectively, and your energy system, to show you what's obstructing that manifestation, which means things will come to you to reveal your truth. Is it wrong place, wrong time? Is it you, your mindset? Is it you're over controlling? You're trying too hard, so you're missing. The guy's like, or the woman is like your neighbor, and you don't know because you're too busy trying to control, and your fear and your insecurities are standing in the way. And you don't realize you have to heal that. You have trauma from your history. You have a terrible relationship with one of your parents. What you saw them live is still imprinted inside of you somewhere, which needs to come up and out. You have shame running through your life. You feel unworthy. And these are all reasons for why you may not be living the experience that you want. Maybe the universe has something else, or your soul has something else planned for you before you have that, but you don't know because you're only focused on what somebody else has, or what you think you really want for yourself, as an example. And that can be super frustrating. So a couple of things about healing is, know that when you open a door, healing will start happening, meaning things will start coming up and coming through you and revealing themselves and giving you evidence that there's a change or a transformation that has to happen. It might not be as easy as 1, 2, 3. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That might be the journey of your transformation, where you have to look and seek and figure it out and sort it out until you get to a place where your energy and your heart and your mind are really ready. Often we think we're ready and we're not. We're actually over-controlling. We're pushing too hard. We're demanding we want what we want, but we don't realize like what we want is being obstructed by what we need to do, which is heal ourselves. So know when you go into the journey, you might not be able to control the journey. You may have things that you have to do, which are really important, and they matter. They matter. And you need to allow yourself the opportunity to go through this journey of healing with an open mind and an open heart, and let it unfold, and trust that process. Trust that process. Allow it to occur that I'm very aware. I'm very aware. I can see what I have to do. I can see that I'm in the way. Take it like if it's not easy for me to attain a certain goal or desire, and I have a desire for something, there's a few things that are going on. One, I need to transform my heart and mind in order to receive that. It might not be for me what I'm longing for, or it may be wanting to come at a different time in my life, and I need to try my best to understand that. The when, the what, the how. And then it becomes easier because you're relaxing. You're letting yourself own whatever has to heal, whatever has to be done, whatever you have to do. You're aware. You're not fighting it. You're not pushing. You're not resisting. You're letting. You're allowing. You're sitting with it. You're being in the place where you're open to receiving the message of how come it's not here yet. from that position, your intuition, life, the universe can provide you with answers. You can be the leader of that by asking questions. Okay, I want this in my life. I want to understand my career. I want to understand my career. How and when and what do I need to do in order to understand what I'm here to do? There's a roadmap. I can go actually start to look for esoteric information, metaphysical information, astrological information. I can do that. I can go see a career specialist, a counselor, and see what's going on. I can recognize my emotions and understand like what's going on with me when I think of my career and being successful. How do I feel about that? What do I think about myself in accordance to the career? You can do any of those things and start just dumping it out. Like, okay, there's a reason I don't understand or know what I'm here to do. Maybe I don't have enough information. A lot of people don't have a career because they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified. They come up and were raised by families and parents that had no success. And who the heck are they to actually go after success as an example of what could be in a person's heart in resistance, making them resist. I'm resisting facing what I have to face in order to stand out in my true path, in my true career. It may be that parents are pushing, I want you to be this, but really, you're not that. You're a creative person, but your parents want you to be a doctor and a scientist, and you're like, hey, not that, right? So there's so many things that can happen. You've had trauma in your life. You've been abused. You've been misunderstood. You have been tortured. You're in a country where it's terrifying. You're not allowed to be yourself. You're born in a place where you're not allowed to be yourself. That's the last thing you're allowed to be. So it's the unraveling of conditions and socialization, personal healing that has to happen, new ways of thinking and being. Finding your purpose, like what is it? What could it be? You can use roadmaps. Like I said, astrology, numerology, those are roadmaps. Okay, what are the kind of careers that would really fit me based on what I can see in my characteristics in my chart? In the area where my career is in my chart, because that's easy to find. Okay, the 10th house, that's my career. That's what I'm doing in this world. Okay, let's see what's in there. Let's get an astrologer to look and see what's in there, and also to see where my powerhouses are and see where my power lies in my chart. See if there's a ripple effect from that, because when you hear truth, you're going to know the truth. Nobody's going to make you do what an astrological chart says to do. But if you're in a trauma, and if you're not in a healing journey, then and you're in a state of resistance, then that is dictating to your career or your love life or your happiness. So if you choose what's going to make sense for you in order to reveal more truth and find a way through the passage of clarity. And some of that will be, and connection to yourself, connection to your truth, connection to your purpose, connection to your heart and mind. Absolutely. When you know the truth, you're going to feel it inside. And then you can get on the road to creating it and manifesting that. So I hope this has helped help the landscape. I hope this has helped the landscape develop in your mind. Maybe there's a reason that things are not easy. It can be your own self-sabotage mechanisms. It can be you're complicated. You're a complicated person. Actually, it has nothing to do with anybody. You're just complicated. That's possible. It can be. We're built really differently. That's why you can go into a family and there's 5 kids and each child is exactly different from the other, because they're not supposed to be the same. And parents are completely different from the children. Sometimes kids are exactly like their parents. Yeah, because there's an alignment in the characteristics. But a lot of time it's not like that, because you are unique. You're the perfect human for that soul experience that is trying to be had with you from this divine aspect of self. So you're the leader. You, human. Yeah, you. You're the leader of what happens. You're the leader of your deepest understanding. You're the leader of what you control. You're the leader of your healing. You're the leader of your truth. If you're in the way, you're in the way. You're the leader of listening to the messages that are trying to come to you to tell you why things aren't going potentially the way you might want them to go. Some of us have big lessons and big healings we came here to accomplish. It's nicer to know that than not to know that. You know what I mean? If you're built and in your astrological chart, your human design chart, you're like, whoa, I have a big job to do. It's written right there, but a job in healing myself or a job in having fun. And I'm like, I don't even know how to have fun because I'm not even built to have fun. But that's your role in life, is to learn to have fun and to learn to enjoy and to master the art of pleasure and enjoyment, or to master the art of healing and transformation and depth, and being a part of this collective tribal experience that we're having here and feeling it all and experiencing it all. Well, how do you do that if you don't understand that that's how you're built? You're going to wonder what's wrong with you. Like so many empaths in the world, I talk about this a lot. Empaths need healing. Oh my God, they need healing in the biggest possible way, because you're walking around, and a lot of empaths have that emotional authority that I was talking about. They're like walking around going, man, I feel everything, man. I feel everything. I'm feeling, hey, Joe, over there, I feel you. I feel, oh, hey, Mary, what are you doing over there? Gosh, you're in pain. I'm in pain. Why am I in pain? Oh, I'm feeling Mary's stuff, but I don't even know I'm feeling it because I'm an empath. I'm picking up all kinds of things around me. I can sense emotion from other people. I'm picking up on energy. You don't realize that you're born that way. You come from a scientific family, as an example, or an athletic family, and nobody is really sensitive in the family but you. And they're like, what's wrong with you? And you don't know you're an empath. You don't know that you're a heart-centered empath and that's how you're born. You're born with the ability to read, sense, and know people's feelings, emotions, and to sense them at a deep core level. And as a child, if you don't know that, you're not sure what's yours and what's other people's. That is a healing that has to happen. The purging of other people's emotions and experiences, learning how to have boundaries, learning what's yours and what's not yours. That's actually a personal healing you're going to have to embark on. Having boundaries that protect you energetically, and also how you as an empath can use your ability when necessary or needed, okay, to help others, to have compassion, to share that with the world. Not just sit around going, what's wrong with me? Why am I so emotional? Why am I this way or that way? When you realize you're an empath, you're going to be like, yeah, of course you're that way, because you're picking up everybody's stuff and you don't even know that you're reading it. You don't even know what's going on. You don't know you need timeouts from people's energy. You don't have a clue that you have specific needs as an empath that are different than other people's. So the healing journey is different for everybody. And this is like, I'm going to talk more about this in the episodes for sure. I wanted to introduce this as a way of saying, let's open the door, first of all, to accepting you have your own unique way. And how can you find out what that way is? I've given you tons of insights. There's so many books and podcasts, and there's so much stuff out there, which is amazing, that can help you just say, oh, maybe this is my way. I recommend, of course, doing what worked for me, which is getting my chart read and just getting a foundational understanding. The reason that worked for me is because I came from a family who didn't communicate, who was completely different, who my parents split up when I was very young, and I didn't know. I had no roadmap. I had no people in my life. I had no explanation. I had nothing. I was alone from a very young age. My parents one of them was gone and one of them was doing whatever that they were doing, but they weren't around and they weren't with us and they weren't with their children. So my education was on the street, in gangs, and from myself. That doesn't work. I'm an 8-year-old kid trying to figure out why my parents are divorced, why the man molested me. I'm 8 years old trying to figure this out by myself because there's nobody to talk to. We have to re-educate ourselves and realize it's, and I'm telling you that so and you can also say to yourself, hey, of course I don't know how to do it. Of course I don't. Look at what happened to me. So you can find some freedom. So you can find some acceptance. So you can stop judging yourself and be able to say, hey, what Lisa said made sense to me. It's true. Like, how would I know how to heal myself, or how would I know how to understand why I feel like something's wrong with me? Let me reflect on what my life was like. Let me reflect on what I did learn from my family, what they did give me as an asset, as a mindset. as an emotional intelligence. What did I get from them? What did I get from how I was raised, where I was raised? Where were you raised? Like, that's huge. What did you learn? Who were your teachers? Did anyone support you? Did anybody infiltrate? Right? Yes, you may find out also that the person that's been in your way the whole time, because you did have everything at your disposal and the beautiful family and the right helpers, is you. Yes, you might find that out. You decided to go down the wrong track. You decided to be a rebel. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You still have the right and you deserve to heal if that's what you choose in your leadership. So if you choose in your leadership that you want to lead your life, then you have the right to do that. That's your free will that you get to choose if you want to heal. And healing and transforming optimizes you. It'll bring forward your true power, your true self, your deepest personality. The greatness that lives inside you has a chance to come up when you resolve what's in your way, when you take ownership and leadership of what's in your way. And it may take time. So this is my welcome note to you about healing, and that you need to be open to the messages of life and the universe coming to you from yourself, your inner self, your gut, whispering to you about where there may be something that you want to look at, where you have suspicion about why you can't get those things that you want, or why you might feel bad, or where there might be trauma. Allow it to come up. Allow yourself to say, well, I can lead this any way I want to. This is my choice. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end to healing, okay? So yes, when you open the door, it can be quite overwhelming. But if you're armed and you have the right tools and you have the right understanding and the right mindset, and you have people that can teach you the way to healing, connecting to yourself, understanding yourself, and you don't spiritual bypass that journey, because lots of people are trying to spiritual bypass the truth. And I find it amusing, because no matter what, whatever you haven't seen the truth about, it keeps coming back, or it keeps coming up. Sometimes it's just a matter of like, you have to heal one layer, and then there's another layer, and then there's another layer, and then you find your freedom. And sometimes people are fighting that. They just want the quick fix. Don't be that way, because it doesn't work that way. You know, we have acceleration in our healing journey now, because there's so many different modalities and ways that you can heal yourself. So there's already an accelerator going on around your opportunity to heal. There's so many ways to fast track that. But ignoring it and spiritual bypassing it, hiding from it, it just doesn't work. You'll notice that it doesn't work. The universe doesn't support that. Life doesn't support that. Your soul doesn't support that. It's supporting you being in your truth, because the minute you have the truth, you have a wave of clarity. And you'll notice, because the aftermath of your truth is peace. You know, if you aren't finished your healing, then yes, something's going to come up in another way to reveal to you that you're not complete. And if you know that, it's a lot easier to just be open-minded than label things as complete. You're not sure. I did this route of healing. I feel much better. I don't know if there's more. I'm just going to be open to whatever I need to do, whatever that is. That's important, because that gives you freedom and liberty. And it gives your heart and soul freedom and liberty to heal even more, and to be more free and more free and more free. Healing's absolutely epic, and it's amazing. And, you know, I honor anybody who is courageous enough to say, I want to heal what's happened to me. I really feel that I honor you. I really feel a deep sense of honor and connection to those of you that are like, I'm in, I'm going, I'm doing it. I'm a brave, brave, brave soldier to my spirit. You know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to fight for myself. I'm going to do it. I honor you. I love you guys. You're amazing. Hope this has helped open doors and bring acceptance and give you some opportunities, some questions, some roadmaps that you can take on and you know, look into, so that you can start to look at, okay, what are your questions, you know, and what do you need to do to move forward? And we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Always remember, I put the links inside of all the descriptions and everything there. So if you need anything, it's there. You can always just contact us too. We're happy. I'm happy to hear from you. Really happy to hear from you. Bye for now.